It's now time for Ask the Expert. So you're headed to the work or maybe even a family holiday party and everything's on the checklist, right? You've got the gifts, you've got, and then you check your breath.
I brushed before Live at 4 today, knowing that Dr. Donald Gundlach from Dental Associates was going to be hanging out with us this afternoon. Tell us about bad breath. Is it just the foods we eat or what's going on in our mouths that, you know, gives us that stank every once in a while?
Well, obviously there's some obvious culprits here, but there's also some other things. You know, you want to avoid foods like onions and garlic and tuna and things like that. But there's also some infections and underlying medical conditions and some medications that can contribute to it too.
So bad breath, halitosis, right?
Right.
But are there any, is there anything that we can do to combat that before we eat some of those culprits you say we shouldn't eat because they're so good?
They're so good. It's difficult because that food is going to stick around for quite a while until it gets metabolized for it. So that is just a waiting process. So if you do have your holiday parties, you want to avoid things like that for a couple days beforehand, or if you're going to meet some people for the first time, first date, things like that. Yes, you know. So those are the obvious choices. Once you do consume them or any other food, then you just want to clean them out of your mouth as quickly as possible. Water helps, brushing obviously, some mouthwashes helps as well, and sugar-free gum.
What are those medical conditions you mentioned earlier? Yes. You know, you can control what you eat, but you might not be able to control something that's physically wrong with you.
Right, and I think, and that's a good point, because if you're brushing twice a day, flossing, using mouthwash, and you still find that every hour you need to freshen your breath, there could be a very serious medical condition. Uncontrolled diabetes, gastric reflux, pneumonia, bronchitis, sinus infections, tonsillitis, things like that.
You spoke about some of the things that we can use to help our breath, but is there any one like ingredient you should look for in your mouthwash so that you know you're getting as much for actually killing the germs as opposed to just covering it up?
Right. You know, Listerine is a good brand. Things you should kind of avoid with mouthwashes, though, especially if you're a smoker, get a mouthwash without alcohol. The combination of alcohol and smoking really increases your risk of oral cancer significantly. So be very careful with that. Yes.
Real quick for the coworkers out there in the newsroom, does stress cause bad breath?
It can.
No stress in this newsroom.
It can. You know, you get nervous, you start talking, you get dehydrated. Dehydration is a big contributor to bad breath as well.
Right.
Well, we need water in the newsroom.
Yes, we do. Thanks so much for coming in. Got a question for any of our experts? Send an email, asktheexpert@todaystmj4.com. You can leave a voicemail. The number is right there on your television screen.